They once called her Hollywood's golden girl, elegant, poised, and untouchable. Now, disturbing whispers suggest that Blake Lively's flawless image is beginning to crumble. Rumors swirl that behind her pristine public persona, she actively pursued fellow actor Justin Baldoni. And when he rebuffed her, she allegedly spun an elaborate tale of harassment to deflect blame. Leaked texts, candid on-set videos, and offhand remarks hint at a scandal that could shatter the myth of the perfect star. How did an icon of glamour and loyalty become entangled in a tangled web of desire, deception, and desperate PR maneuvers? Stay with us as we peel back the layers of a story where truth and spectacle merge into one dramatic narrative. For years, Blake Lively was synonymous with grace and glamour. Alongside Reynolds, the charming, quick-witted counterpart adored by fans, they embodied a fairy tale romance celebrated on red carpets and in blockbuster ads. Their playful banter and meticulously curated social media posts set the standard for celebrity power couples. Yet beneath the smiles and perfect poses, murmurs began to surface. On the set of a recent film, insiders reported that Blake was seen engaging in prolonged, secretive exchanges with Justin Baldoni. Colleagues recalled instances of charged glances and whispered conversations in secluded corners. Initially, these accounts were dismissed as idle gossip in a world where flirtation is common. However, as days passed, the anecdotes grew more persistent and detailed. Eyewitnesses described moments when Blake's intensity seemed to speak of more than just creative collaboration. Instead of simply building chemistry for the camera, she appeared to be setting the stage for something far more personal and potentially risky. Critics wondered why someone with her impeccable reputation would risk everything for a fleeting connection. Was it an innocent case of creative energy at work, or was there a hidden agenda behind those smiles? The initial shock eventually gave way to mounting speculation as fans and industry insiders alike began to question whether Blake was challenging the very image that made her famous. Then came the bombshell. In an unexpected move, Blake herself leveled accusations that Justin Baldoni had overstepped professional boundaries. In a matter-of-fact statement that sent ripples through Hollywood, she claimed that his behavior had become uncomfortably invasive. In today's climate, where even a single allegation can upend a career, the news was explosive. Many accepted her version immediately, buoyed by her long-standing reputation as a champion of women's rights. Yet the timing was peculiar. Insiders noted that the formal complaint appeared shortly after persistent rumors suggested that Blake had been the one pushing for a more intimate connection. Leaked messages described her urging for more natural chemistry on set, even suggesting changes to scripted scenes to increase physical closeness. When Baldoni's reactions did not match her escalating expectations, tensions reportedly flared. The contradiction left many scratching their heads. If Blake had been the one initiating the flirtation, why then cast herself as the aggrieved party? Some speculated that it was a clever PR maneuver, a way to deflect responsibility and preserve her carefully honed public image. Others believed it was a calculated strategy to harness the power of the Me Too movement for personal gain. The conflicting accounts only deepened the mystery. Was she genuinely hurt by a breach of trust, or was she orchestrating a media storm to silence any opposition to her ambitions? Justin Baldoni, until now known as a reserved, principled actor-producer, suddenly found himself at the center of a growing maelstrom. His reputation as a family man and a thoughtful artist made the allegations against him all the more shocking. Rather than retreating from the controversy, Baldoni responded with measured determination. Sources close to him revealed that he had preserved a trove of text messages, behind-the-scenes video clips, and candid photos that directly contradicted Blake's account. According to these materials, it was Blake who had initiated flirtatious behavior. Colleagues described how she had urged for additional takes to capture the real spark and insisted on retakes that pushed the envelope of on-screen intimacy, often in defiance of established professional protocols. The evidence painted a picture of a woman driven by personal desire rather than professional necessity. Then, adding a twist to the narrative, leaked audio recordings emerged. One voicemail, allegedly from Baldoni apologizing for any missteps, was scrutinized by tech experts who found anomalies in its metadata. They suggested that the recording might have been edited or even pieced together from different snippets, a claim that lent further credence to the idea of a coordinated smear campaign. As the evidence mounted, Baldoni's role shifted in the public eye from potential aggressor to a man caught in a battle against a forceful narrative. Friends and colleagues expressed disbelief that someone as principled as Baldoni could be implicated in such a scandal. Many believed that the carefully curated evidence pointed to a scenario in which he was not the perpetrator, but a scapegoat in a high-stakes game of public relations and personal ambition. As the controversy deepened, Ryan Reynolds found himself in an increasingly precarious position. In the early days, he had been the rock-solid supporter of his wife, publicly affirming that the allegations must be taken at face value. His confident statements and behind-the-scenes maneuvers, including efforts to pressure agencies to distance themselves from Baldoni, reinforced the image of a couple united against external threats. But as contradictory evidence began to surface, cracks appeared in Ryan's unyielding support. Whispers in industry circles suggested that Ryan had come across private messages in which Blake referred to him as an obstacle, a barrier preventing her from pursuing a more enticing connection with Baldoni. The revelation that his wife might have been maneuvering behind his back was a bitter pill for a man whose public image had always been built on loyalty, humor, and authenticity. Close friends recounted that Ryan became noticeably troubled, seeking further clarification before fully recommitting to his initial stance. His internal conflict, once kept under tight wraps, started to leak into hushed conversations among Hollywood insiders. Was it possible that his own actions, intended to protect his family, had inadvertently lent credibility to a narrative built on deception? As doubts began to swirl, the once unassailable image of the Reynolds-Lively partnership was slowly tarnished. While personal betrayals simmered, the media machine was in overdrive. Reports soon emerged that several major outlets had been prepped well in advance to run explosive stories about Baldoni, even before Blake's official complaint hit the press. Many critics argued that this was no coincidence, but evidence of a calculated PR strategy designed to ruin Baldoni's career before he could mount any meaningful defense. One of the more surreal allegations involved what insiders dubbed the Taylor Swift ambush. According to unverified reports, Blake had orchestrated a meeting at her penthouse under the pretense of discussing script revisions. When Baldoni arrived, he allegedly found not only Ryan Reynolds, but also an unexpected presence: Taylor Swift. Although the details remain murky, the mere suggestion of such an elaborate setup reinforced the idea that manipulation lay at the heart of the unfolding drama. Whether or not every detail proves accurate, the overall impression was clear. An image meticulously built over years was now being weaponized in a way that could destroy careers. Observers noted that in Hollywood, where public personas are as carefully scripted as movie scenes, any hint of manipulation can have devastating consequences. The trust that had once buoyed Blake's reputation was rapidly eroding, replaced by suspicion and disillusionment. As the scandal deepened, the fallout began to take tangible shape. Initially, many in Hollywood expected Justin Baldoni to be ostracized. Casting directors and agencies, wary of being associated with any form of misconduct, started distancing themselves. For a time, it appeared that his career might be irreparably damaged. Yet, as his counter-evidence circulated among insiders, the narrative began to shift. Baldoni gradually emerged as a fighter, a man determined to challenge a narrative that painted him as the villain. Rumors of potential legal action for defamation began to circulate, hinting that he might soon take his battle to the courtroom. Behind closed doors, influential directors and producers were already considering him for new projects, should he succeed in clearing his name. For Blake Lively, the consequences were far more severe. Major brands, once eager to associate with her flawless image, began to retreat. Casting directors and studios grew increasingly cautious, fearful that any link to a star embroiled in such controversy could tarnish their own reputations. Even Ryan Reynolds, whose marketability had long been bolstered by his affable charm, now faced the grim possibility that his unwavering support might be seen as complicit in a web of deception. The picture-perfect duo of Reynolds and Lively, once a paragon of Hollywood romance, was now under intense scrutiny, with every misstep magnified for public consumption. As the scandal continued to dominate headlines, long-dormant rumors about Blake's past began to resurface with renewed significance. For years, whispers of her close relationships with various co-stars had been dismissed as inconsequential gossip. Now, these murmurs were cast in a new light. Observers started to wonder if there was a recurring pattern, a history of flirting with boundaries and then rewriting the narrative when things went awry. The suggestion that Blake might have previously maneuvered similar situations, albeit on a smaller scale, cast a long shadow over her carefully cultivated image. Critics were particularly vocal about what they saw as a betrayal of the values she had once publicly championed. Here was a woman who had built her brand on female empowerment and integrity. Yet if she had indeed weaponized the Me Too narrative to serve her own ambitions, it would represent a profound hypocrisy. The stark contrast between her public proclamations and the private actions now coming to light left many disillusioned and sparked a broader conversation about the real cost of celebrity image management. Today, the full truth remains obscured by layers of conflicting evidence, media spin, and personal agendas. Some insist that Baldoni is preparing for a defamation lawsuit that will force every piece of evidence into the public arena. Others believe that Blake may opt for a quiet settlement to avoid the prolonged scrutiny of a courtroom battle. As for Ryan Reynolds, his next moves will be crucial in determining whether he can salvage his own public image while still standing by his wife, or if his involvement will forever stain his reputation. One fact is indisputable: the scandal has permanently altered the way we view one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. The carefully polished image of Blake Lively now appears fractured, exposing vulnerabilities and contradictions that no one expected. Whether she can rebuild the persona that once made her an icon remains uncertain. In an industry where public perception is everything, one misstep can change a career in an instant. The Blake Lively controversy forces us to confront a harsh reality. Behind every glamorous facade lies the potential for secrets, betrayal, and unexpected consequences. What began as a whisper of flirtation has escalated into a full-blown scandal, a dramatic clash between ambition, desire, and the relentless pursuit of a perfect image. As leaked texts, manipulated recordings, and conflicting testimonies emerge, the line between truth and performance becomes ever more blurred. In Hollywood, where every moment is scrutinized and every misstep magnified, no one's image is immune. The fallout from this controversy will continue to reshape the careers of those involved and redefine the standards by which we judge celebrity. Whether through a courtroom showdown or a discreet settlement, the truth will eventually come to light, leaving us to wonder if the golden image of Hollywood's sweetheart can ever truly be restored.